Well, ladies and gentlemen, I moved, really moved, to see all you here, because what would be the protection of victims in real terms if there were not the NGOs, the volunteers who give their time, who give their heart in order to help victims in very difficult situations. We politicians can help you to help, and that is what we have done under Irish presidency, because we have managed, and this is a real milestone in Europe, to have for the first time horizontal protection of victims in all European member states in the same way. That means that victims have a real standing in front of a criminal court, that even they can have a right to cancel a decision not to prosecute, that they have a right to specialist support services, not only them, but also their families, because we have extended the definition of what a victim is, and that the vulnerable victims, very often women, always children, have a right to special care. On top of this, we have decided also for all European countries on a European protection order, a protection order which is given by national courts or by national administrations, but it is given for a territory. In future, you can take your protection order with yourself wherever you travel or wherever you decide to settle in Europe. I know this is mostly important for women, and I have met many of the organizations who care for violence against women and who help those women. So you see, at the level of legislation, we have done a very big step forward. So thank you for the work you are doing. Without you, our work as politicians would not come to the grassroots. That was a message I wanted to give to you. Let me now come to the meeting with our American friends and to the questions which are high on the agenda. You know that earlier this week I sent a series of detailed questions to Attorney General Holder about the Verizon and the PRISM program. How do these affect EU citizens' rights? Are they aimed at EU citizens? What is the volume of the data collected? Do the programs involve bulk collection of data, or is the collection targeted? Do the programs operate under proper oversight of the judiciary? Is the collection of data of European citizens authorized by a court? And how are the European citizens protected as compared to the American citizens? Now, these questions matter even if we are in the field of national security, because even in the field of national security, European law says very clearly that a citizen is protected, can go to court if believes that his right to privacy or data protection has been infringed. So judicial redress, even in these cases, is available on the territory of Europe for European citizens and non-European citizens, all those who are on our territory. And I have asked since a long time already, and I continue to ask, an equal treating between American citizens and European citizens, equal treatment, not more, not less. Now, I have asked these very precise questions in the letter, and I have asked them again today directly to my colleague. And I have been given answers and assurances. For me, this is the beginning of a dialogue. So first, on the Verizon question. The answers which I have received is that it is a US project directed mainly towards US citizens. It is about metadata, not about content. It is about bulk, not about individuals. And it is on the basis of court order and congressional oversight. So, having heard that from Eric Holder, I consider that this is an American question, and I hope that Eric Holder can confirm this. Considering now the PRISM question, the answers to the questions I have raised were the following. It is about foreign intelligence threat targeted to non-US citizens under investigation on terrorism and cybercrime. So it is not bulk, but individual or group targeted questions. It is on the basis of a court order, of an American court, and of congressional oversight. I hope that Eric Holder can confirm what has been told during the meeting. Now, for us Europeans, it is very essential. Even if there is a national security issue, it cannot be at the expense of the fundamental rights of EU citizens. And I have heard the explanations and reassurances, and I made it clear that the basic rights of citizens are not negotiable, but that, of course, security is something governments have to care for. I appreciate the proposal of the Attorney General to convey in a short term experts of intelligence and privacy from the US and from the EU in order to clarify together the remaining matters, and I think there are remaining matters, and to get also answers to remaining questions. But it was a very good first initiative to speak eye to eye on questions which concern many European citizens. The PRISM leaks have provoked, as you know, a wave of protest against surveillance and denial of privacy. And that is why I have heard with great interest President Obama's indication that he is open to debate. I agree, this is more necessary than ever, because it is in the end a question of trust of the citizens towards their governments. And this is also why I believe that the conclusion of the umbrella agreement on the exchange of data in the law enforcement sector is so fundamental. We have been negotiating, Eric and myself, since 2011. There were 15 negotiation rounds by our collaborators who have made an important work. We have gone an important step forward, but there are still some fundamental issues which have not been resolved. A meaningful agreement has to ensure the equal treatment of EU and US citizens. A meaningful agreement has to give European citizens concrete rights like access to justice. And a meaningful agreement would ensure that law enforcement authorities access data through the lawful channels of cooperation which do exist between the EU and the European Union. So I call on the Attorney General, my friend Eric, to find the solutions on these points together, because we need to conclude these negotiations to give confidence that we managed to set up the systems which bring back the trust of our citizens in what we are doing. Trust is the basis of our cooperation in the field of law enforcement, and it is essential to the stability and growth of the digital economy, and it will be also essential if we organize the debates on a trade agreement to have the trust at the basis of our discussions.